So yeah, so did you guys watch the recording from Thursday then? Yeah? Okay, make sure you're always watching those because like on Thursday we started the project. Okay. So today you needed to bring your sketchbooks. We're going to be working in storyboards today. I'll go over the project just briefly, but it was all in the video from Thursday. Okay. I'm not duplicating instruction between the days. Okay, we're kind of just going along, and then day you're not in class is just your it's asynchronous for you, so you just got to do your stuff. Make sure you get everything done. When there is a Zoom link, which will be most days because I've had a request, I won't be taking questions during the Zoom links. Okay, they're just for you to listen in on class if that's helpful for you. You don't have to; they're optional. I am recording. It's recording right now, so you can just do the recordings as well. Okay. The Zoom link isn't really going to show you the screen. I mean, I guess actually it doesn't have to sit here. We could move it. It can be here, but I don't know how useful that's going to be. Oh, yeah, maybe that's useful. Chelsea. So yeah, so if that's useful, then we can set up there. Hi, Chelsea. Um, so yeah, okay. If you haven't yet, do the welcome, introduce yourself. Let's do it at midnight. I think 5 to grade here. Office hours did change a little bit. Okay. My Mondays opened up, so I moved all my office hours to Monday, Wednesday, 12 to 4. I don't have office hours Tuesday, Thursday. Everything is by appointment. So if Monday, Wednesday doesn't work for you, just email me and figure out another time. Okay. Every other weekend, my weekends are pretty free. If it's an emergency, then I can make more or less any time work. Fridays are fairly free, but those are research days for me. I try not to schedule appointments. But if it is an emergency, like you are completely stuck, you have a looming deadline, anything else, just reach out and contact me and let me know. Okay? Good? All right, great. All right. The other thing would be, yeah, we talked about the extra credit reading assignment. All right, so let's just really quickly, does anybody have any questions about the storyboards? Did you watch the clips that are in the description? Okay, good. The Ridley Scott one especially is great because he talks about his process and how he uses storyboards. The other ones are kind of just like running through storyboards. And then you had the 3, so we had some that we watched in class. And then you had those 3 that you needed to watch on your own. How to storyboard for people that can't draw, storyboard. Everybody that comes to this class generally is like, I can't draw, so I felt like that was a good one to put in there. Storyboard basics and storyboard camera movements. Those camera movements, knowing how to describe how the frame is moving around, is going to go a long way towards communicating all the motion and the movement that you should be communicating. You're not drawing a comic strip. Okay? You are trying to convey the idea for your complex project to me. Right? As someone that's like your art director, as someone who's going to approve that for you. Okay? So you need to be able to talk about, how is the camera moving? How are the people moving in the scene? On Thursday, I talked about dividing your scene up in a certain way, and we can start Photoshop here and we can figure that out. I'll show you just an example of how I described to everybody in class, since you probably couldn't see that and why I didn't do that. Is it loading through? All right. All right, say you're using an 11 by 17 piece of paper. What I would recommend doing is, however you divide up your sheet, depending on the dimensions of your sheet. Oops. Okay. You can have some panes like this. You could do 2 panes here, and then sections for notes over here. Okay. On this one, it might be easier. I don't know why that's not letting me grab that. Let's go to fill. Be easier.
grab it. Yeah, there we go. It might be easier to, like, if it's 11 by 17, to do something like this, or even to maybe make these a little smaller. My recommendation if you do this is, the idea is to give yourself enough room to have these, to have notes, essentially. So do your panes, but then put all your notes down here, okay? And if you need to, you can print out some sheets like this. There are storyboard templates you can find online that you can print out. My recommendation is to put them in a sketchbook. Like your sketchbook is great. You could probably do 3 stacked vertically, like one, like here and here, and then lots of notes over here, which is useful, right? However you can get the most in there. The thing I don't want you to do is I don't want you to take all of these and just fill the whole space with squares, okay? That looks like a storyboard. Now you have nowhere for notes, right? You have nowhere to put any kind of extra information. You might be able to get away with something like this. If we group all these together and then we can align them. Where's my align window? I always lose it. Oh, can't align it. Let's just grab these guys. There we go. So, like, yeah, let's gonna put it in the middle. No, that's fine anyway. So something like this where you'd have some space for notes here and then some space for notes here. That's okay, but you are still kind of getting tight. Okay. It is like an 11 by 17 is like this. If you think about that, you're not giving yourself a ton of room for notes once you write really tiny. The other thing about these is I would number your frames so the sequence is obvious. Okay, and you can draw inside and outside of the pane. Do a lot of research and look at other storyboards. Get on Google and just Google them and take a look. Okay. Right. Are there any questions about process? Yeah.
So how big are these when we're drawing them?
I mean, you shouldn't do anything smaller than like this. So that's like 4 by 3. I would say even 5 by 7 should be your minimum. Okay, just you need to give yourself a lot of room. Even if you don't draw everything in there, like they don't need to be perfect images. But they need to be able to communicate what's going on. If you're having a hard time visualizing, I recommend writing an outline first. Sit and think about your story, or think about the project that you want to do. If you're totally stuck, pick a favorite movie or a TV show and do a scene. Do like 30 seconds from a scene, or a minute or something, or a whole gag from like a sitcom or whatever, right? Do that bit, and even go watch the show, watch that scene, and think about how they blocked it. I don't want you to recreate how they framed it, but maybe think about a different way you can do it. But definitely use that as a template, right? If it's Seinfeld or whatever you guys watching, or Schitt's Creek, doesn't matter. Right? Think about how they set up the scene. Maybe you need to write it out, like what happened in that scene, what the point of the scene was, who was talking when, and then look at how they framed it, and then decide, well, maybe it would be more interesting if I framed it this way. Maybe it would be more interesting if I composed it this way. One interesting thing to do would be to think about like the Disney movies, like Lion King, the cartoon, right, and the CG live action one, right? How different or how similar they are seen between scenes. That would be an interesting comparison. I'm not saying do anything based on that comparison, but use that comparison for research. Like, what did they change? Did they change anything? Think about Jungle Book. I think Beauty and the Beast was fairly different, right? Jungle Book and Lion King are pretty similar. Although Jungle Book was still pretty different. Lion King was super similar. Aladdin, what did they change between Aladdin? Those things are crazy, right? Those remakes and so anything like that, right? It's the same story, just being told in different ways. It's good research. Anything else? I would definitely start with an outline first. Okay, that'll give you an idea of how many frames you're going to need. You're going to need at least the very minimum 12. Okay, 12 to 24 is a good range. Anything more than 24 is great because it really does help you communicate. But don't shoot yourself in the foot by trying to do like 100 or something. Okay. If you're having trouble figuring it out, just ask and I can help you very easily. Right, either rein yourself in or push you a little bit further. Cool. Okay. Any questions? No? Okay. Great. So what I'm going to say is go ahead and get started. Okay. Get on the internet, do some research, lay out your boards, work on your outline if you haven't worked on it yet. This is all due on the 1st, which is next Tuesday. Okay, so we have a week. Thursday, I expect you to work on it, and then Tuesday night is when the critiques are due. So you'll have some time in class on Tuesday as well. So kind of go over it with me before you submit for the critique. Great? All right, cool. All right, I'm going to stop the Zoom now, unless anybody has questions. Yeah, what's up? Yeah, that's the smallest I would go though. Yeah, don't get anything smaller than that. But for that one, I would say like probably it's a frame per page with notes. Like draw your frame really big, and then give yourself lots of room for notes. And then on the back of that page, another frame, notes. That way you're not trying to draw inside a really tiny box. You just give yourself a lot of room. Okay, and a lot of notes. Right? Great. Anybody need anything like rulers? I think there's some rulers in 2 or 3.
Yeah.
You need a ruler? Okay. Cole, did you have a question?
No, I thought that this was a different class.
Do you think it was web design? That's all right. It's afternoon. Okay. You need a ruler, you said?
Yes, please.
Okay. You need a ruler? Rulers? Okay, I'll go find some rulers. Yeah. Wipe these down first. Cole, I'm going to end the Zoom. There's not much else other than just work done.
right, so some of these are my personal rulers, so when you're done with them, just throw them on the floor over here and I'll write them down. I think you're gonna want to orange one. There's an extra.